Mr. President, I do want to rise and support the bill that is offered as our Democratic alternative. It is a balanced solution to prevent a dysfunctional, disruptive, across-the-board spending cuts called Sequester. Sequester is a Washington word and a Washington invention that we came up during the budget crisis debacle on August of 2011, that we would cut $1 trillion over 10 years, $110 billion at a time. It was supposed to be resolved through the super committee. It didn't happen. It was supposed to be resolved through the fiscal cliff all the way up to New Year's Eve. What happened? We punted, we delayed 2 months, and so here we are. So while we were facing the draconian implications of it, we do have an answer. And what that answer is composed of is a balanced approach where we look at increased revenue and strategic cuts that will not cripple our economy nor weaken America's strength here or abroad. What does it do? Yes, it does go to increased revenue. The revenue that we're talking about is to close these juicy loopholes, to end these outrageous tax earmarks that happen in the stealth of the night. Look, we got rid of earmarks on Appropriations Committee. Let's get rid of tax earmarks on the Finance Committee. And this is one of the ways to do it. And I want to compliment the senator from Rhode Island, Senator Whitehouse. He's done incredible research on just exactly what these cushy, lobbyist-driven tax breaks are. Our closing the loopholes cuts spending, and it also protects the middle class, ensures essential government services, and keeps America strong. What does it do? Yes, it does reform the tax code. The first loophole it closes is something called the Buffett rule. It saves $53 billion, and it means wealthy taxpayers will pay lower effective tax rates than the middle class. Plain English, Madam President, and do I like that phrase, Madam President, it means, this is what Warren Buffett said, that a billionaire should pay the same taxes as somebody, same tax rate as somebody who makes about $55,000 a year. And guess what? We Democrats believe in entrepreneurship. We believe in rewarding hard work. So that tax doesn't kick in till your second million. Hey, if I were a billionaire, I'd take that deal. But I'm not a billionaire. But more importantly, neither is 99% of the American population. We also eliminate a special loophole to the oil and gas industry for $2 billion, where they get oil from tar sands that would be also subject to a tax. But my also favorite one is it eliminates tax breaks for shipping jobs overseas. Another significant amount of money. But you know, I'm an appropriator. So let me talk about spending cuts. We have come up with spending cuts. Yes, it's 27.5 in domestic spending and 27.5 in defense. Let me start first with defense because much has been said about defense. Many tables have been pounded, many chests have been thumped talking about it, and we do have to look out for our military. But our $27.5 billion recognizes the reality of boots on the ground. Reality of boots on the ground are troops are coming home. They will all be home by the summer of 2014. So our defense cuts kick in 2015. So nothing that we do will in any way dilute, diminish, or end or terminate money that would go to men and women in our harm's way. So our cuts don't kick in till 2015, and then it'll be $3 billion a year over a 9-year period, which our generals and our acting Secretary of Defense, Secretary Hagel, now concur with. So we're okay with defense, and most of all, the military's okay with it. Then we also cut domestic spending. Here, we cut $27 billion cuts in the Farm Bill. It eliminates subsidies that we don't need to do anymore. The presiding officer is from an agricultural state. We love your cheese. We even from time to time cheer on the Green Bay Packers, but from time to time. But at the same time, so we know agriculture is important, but essentially we have a tax subsidy structure that goes back to the 1930s, a different economy, a dust bowl, people vacating homes in Oklahoma and following the Grapes of Wrath trail to California. So we came up through the New Deal, a way of subsidizing farms, restoring the land, and restoring people to their land. But a lot of those subsidies aren't needed anymore, and quite frankly, a lot of it goes to agribusiness that for crops we don't even plant. So working with the Agriculture Committee, the appropriations just didn't do this out of the blue. We come up with $27.5 billion. Now, much is said about asking Democrats if we know math. Yes, we know math. We have 27.5 cuts in domestic spending, 27.5 cuts in defense, kicking in 2015. That's $55 billion. $55 billion getting rid of tax break earmarks and making those who are really make more than $2 million a year pay their fair share. We come up with our 110. Quite simply, that's our plan. I've spoken quite a bit during this week about the impact on the plan and on sequester. Sequester was never meant to happen. We've got to end sequester. We could do it this afternoon. For all those people who are crying their tears and don't want it, what they have to ask their question. Do they want to protect America's middle class, the 99%, or do they want to protect billionaire tax break earmarks? That's the choice. So they can rally, we don't want to pay more taxes. You know, you can't have a government without paying taxes. And the ordinary people pay them every day. And you know what drives me wild? There's this Fix the Debt crowd that flew in. Did you follow that? Well, you're not supposed to comment as the referee here. I watched them fly in. I loved it. They flew in corporate jets that receive a tax subsidy. They stayed in Washington where they could take expense account deductions while they came to lobby us. And what did they come in on their subsidized tax break jets and their expense accounts that they could deduct, and from sushi to Cabernet? They came to tell us to raise Social Security. Wow. And then they told us to raise the age in Medicare, because after all, people live longer. Well, you know, maybe if you have all that wealth and you can afford health care and you don't need Medicare, you don't need it. You know, nobody's got to take Medicare. If you don't need it, you don't have to take it. If you don't need Social Security, they don't need to take it. So my whole point was, often the very solutions that are given by people who get the most tax breaks. Anyway, that's a pet peeve of mine. But really what hurts me is this, and I'll conclude. I represent some of the great iconic institutions in America, the National Institutes of Health, the National Security Agency, each doing their own way to protect the American people. The Federal Drug Administration. I have 4,000 federal employees keeping our drugs and medical devices safe for the American people, and food safety. We've got to make sure those people work so that our private sector works and we keep our economy strong. Please pass the Democratic alternative. It is sound from the standpoint of policy, sustainable, reliable. We could end sequester this afternoon. So, Madam Chair, I yield the floor. I'll be back to talk more about it, but I think we have a good idea here. Let's not follow the politics of delay, and let's not dither in the United States Senate. Madam President, I yield the floor.